Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob. I'm not here as an expert. I'm here as a regular guy trying to do what we're all told to do: work hard, pay the bills, take care of the people we love, and build something stable. But if you felt like stability keeps moving farther away, you're not imagining it. A lot of us grew up believing that if you did the right things, show up, stay consistent, avoid trouble, you'd be okay. Not rich, just okay. Today, okay feels expensive. And what's strange is that it's not just one problem. It's multiple pressures stacking on top of each other: housing, healthcare, education, food, insurance, childcare, transportation, everything that counts. So in this video, I want to lay out what this looks like in real life, why it hits so hard, and what kinds of solutions people are pushing for without turning it into a political shouting match. Because this isn't about arguing, it's about naming what's happening. When people talk about the economy, they usually mean markets, GDP, unemployment, stock prices. But most households don't live inside a chart. They live inside a monthly cycle: rent or mortgage, groceries, gas, utilities, phone, insurance, and whatever emergency shows up next. And the reality is simple: the must-pay list keeps growing, while paychecks often feel stuck. Even when someone gets a raise, it can feel like the raise disappears the same week it arrives, because something else went up too. That's the vibe so many people are describing. I'm working, I'm trying, I'm not wasting money, so why does it still feel like I'm falling behind? Here's the part that messes with people's heads. A lot of workers aren't lazy. They aren't bad with money. They aren't refusing to work. They're working sometimes 2 jobs and still feeling squeezed. When prices rise faster than wages, it creates a quiet pay cut. You might be earning more than you did years ago, but your money buys less. That's not a personal failure. That's math. And it hits hardest in the areas you can't easily dodge: food, rent, gas, insurance, basic healthcare, basic repairs. These aren't luxury purchases. These are the things you need to function. So people cut what they can: subscriptions, restaurants, vacations, hobbies, and they still feel pressure. That's usually the moment someone realizes, I'm not overspending. The floor is just higher now. Housing isn't just one bill. Housing is the foundation that decides everything else: where you can work, where your kids go to school, how long your commute is, whether you can save, whether you can rest. When rent rises faster than income, it doesn't just make people annoyed. It makes people unstable. Because once rent takes too much of your income, you're not budgeting, you're surviving. And home ownership, for many people, feels like a locked door. Not because they don't want it, but because the down payment feels impossible while everything else is so expensive. Now add student loans to that. A lot of younger adults aren't avoiding adulthood. They're doing adulthood on hard mode. They're paying rent, paying debt, paying insurance, paying car costs, and trying to save at the same time. So major milestones get delayed: buying a home, getting married, having kids, starting a business, even moving to a better job market. That's not just personal. That reshapes communities. There's a special kind of fear that comes with healthcare costs. Because with most bills, you can plan. With healthcare, one surprise can drop out of nowhere: a broken bone, a sudden illness, a surgery you didn't expect, a medication you have to keep taking. And even people with insurance can still get hit with large out-of-pocket costs. That's why so many Americans live with this quiet thought in the background: please don't let anything happen. Because something happening isn't just pain or recovery. It can be financial damage that lasts for years. Medical debt doesn't just affect your bank account. It can affect your credit, your ability to move, your ability to qualify for housing, your stress level, and your relationships. And stress spreads. When people feel financially unsafe, everything becomes harder. Sleeping, concentrating, being patient with your kids, being present in your marriage, showing up to work with a clear head. It's not weakness, it's what prolonged pressure does to a person. For a long time, education was pitched as the latter: go to school, get skills, get a better job, build a better life. And for some people, that still happens. But for many graduates, the latter comes with a weight tied to their ankle. Student loans can follow people for years and shape every decision: which job they accept, whether they can move, whether they can save, whether they can take a risk. And when your first years after graduation are dominated by debt, it changes your whole start in life. Some people end up asking the question that feels almost forbidden. Was it worth it? Not because learning is bad, but because the cost to outcome gap can feel brutal. Let me make this real with two stories I've seen versions of everywhere. Sarah is a single mom. She works hard. She's not out partying. She's not wasting money. Then she loses her job, even temporarily, and suddenly the rent clock becomes a countdown. One missed paycheck becomes late fees, then a notice, then panic, then the scramble. Borrow money, call family, sell stuff, skip meals, skip medicine, anything to keep the roof. And the worst part is how fast it happens. Mark has a different story. He's working, doing fine, and then a medical problem shows up. He gets treated because he has to. Then the bills arrive, and now he's not recovering from the surgery. He's recovering from the financial fallout. That kind of pressure breaks people down quietly. Not because they're weak, because the system can hit you with a cost you didn't choose. Inflation sounds like a boring word until you see it on a receipt. It's groceries costing more, household essentials costing more, car repairs costing more, insurance costing more, utility bills creeping upward. It's not one dramatic spike. It's the slow accumulation of more everywhere. And when those mores stack up, families start doing trade-offs. Buy cheaper food, delay doctor visits, postpone repairs, skip dental care, cancel activities for the kids, work extra hours. And then people wonder why everyone's exhausted. This is why. A lot of people have turned to gig work because it helps them survive. Driving, delivery, freelancing, odd jobs, contract work. And the flexibility is real, but the instability is real too. Unpredictable income makes planning hard. No paid time off means rest becomes expensive. No benefits means one emergency becomes a crisis. And when someone is juggling 3 income streams just to cover basic life, that isn't hustle culture. That's a warning sign. Work shouldn't require permanent uncertainty. When people talk about solutions, they usually circle a few main areas. Pay that matches real living costs, more affordable healthcare, and more transparent pricing. Education costs that don't trap people in decades of debt. Housing supply, renter protections and pathways to ownership. Stronger benefits and protections for non-traditional workers. You don't have to agree on every policy idea to agree on the goal. People who work hard should be able to live a stable life. That shouldn't be controversial. Here are realistic moves people are using today. Audit the silent increases insurance, subscriptions, utilities, phone plans. These creep up quietly. Call and renegotiate. Build an emergency buffer in tiny steps. Even $25 a week matters. The goal isn't big, it's consistent. Get aggressive about high-interest debt. Not all debt's equal. High-interest debt is a leak in the boat. Use community resources without shame. Food banks, utility assistance, nonprofit clinics. These exist for moments like this. Talk about money openly with trusted people. Many people suffer alone because they think they're the only one. They're not. If you felt like you're doing everything right and still struggling, this video is your reminder that you're not crazy. A lot of people are fighting the same invisible battle. More bills, fewer margins, less breathing room. But naming the problem matters, talking about it matters, and building community around it matters. Because when regular people compare notes, patterns show up. And once patterns show up, change becomes possible. At Machine Minds, your opinion matters. So if any part of this hit home, drop your experience in the comments. What's the biggest pressure on your life right now? Housing, healthcare, education, food, or something else? Until next time, take care.